A big focus in our game Mistwinter Bay are the characters. They all have unique personalities and their own stories that make up a lot of the content in this narrative-driven game. There is a chance that you as the player encounter some of the characters out in the wild and see them interact with each other in short, unique monthly events. We have an entire video about that already. But other than that, they don't do a whole lot to acknowledge each other's existence. That has changed with the recent mechanic we added. We call it notable relationships. I'll get into how it works in just a moment, but before that, hi, I'm Wogglawooh. I make the art and write a few things for the game Mistwinter Bay. My brother does everything else as the main developer. Together we are creating a massive narrative-driven game that we are aiming to release sometime this fall. So what exactly is this notable relationships mechanic? It can be summarized with this menu. The menu can look a bit different depending on if it is in the townsfolk roster or foreign leader roster. Townsfolk are the characters that you actively use in the game, and you decide who those characters are by building their associated building in town. They only have opinions of other townsfolk. Foreign leaders, on the other hand, are important political figures who stay in the game no matter what your relationship with them looks like. Since they are so powerful, they only have opinions about the other equally powerful foreign leaders. Let's look at what the menu actually means. The smiley faces represent what the active character, in this case Empress Ophelia, who is a foreign leader, thinks about the character in the portraits. The smileys represent a numerical range between -100 and 100, with increments of 25 for each new expression. This means that there are 9 smileys in total. For Ophelia, her smileys mean that she slightly dislikes Camilla, slightly likes Oreg, likes Eria, and feels neutral about the other 3. If we look at another character, like say Miori Eria, we will see that the smileys change since she has different opinions about her colleagues than Ophelia does. This menu looks quite a bit different for townsfolk. First of all, your 2 advisors, Jack and Sophia, don't have opinions about anyone. All other townsfolk have opinions about 5 other townsfolk, but they only show up in the menu if they live in the town. All 3 starting characters, Dawn, Cecil and Erwin, have 1 opinion visible from the start, since they have opinions about each other. But all of them have 4 additional options that will be unlocked if you move the right character in. And if someone they have an opinion of moves out, that opinion disappears from the menu. Let's take a look at it in action. We can see in the menu that Erwin likes Dawn a little bit. If we move Dawn out by replacing her building, the Avalir's Shrine, with a Voidist Shrine, she disappears from Erwin's list of opinions. But Erwin also has an opinion of the Voidist Priestess, Ules, who just moved in, so there's still 1 option in Erwin's menu. As you can probably imagine, this means that not all the townsfolk can have their 5 opinions active at the same time, since some characters are mutually exclusive, like Dawn and Ules for Erwin, due to the fact that the buildings they are associated with need to be built on the same lot. If we move in a completely new character, like the lumberjack Hector, who comes with the lumber camp, we can see that he doesn't have a single opinion yet. That's because none of the characters he cares about live in town yet. But if we build a mage tower and let the mage all move in, Hector gets an opinion in his menu. As previously mentioned, each townsperson has 5 opinions, whilst the foreign leaders have 6. But the townspeople can also get 6 opinions if they get into a relationship with another townsperson who they don't already have an opinion of. We decided to keep the maximum relationship to 6 for 2 reasons. It fits into the menu without making any of the information too small, and it fits onto 1 page. There are 32 townsfolk in the game, so if all of them would have opinions about each other, we would end up with page after page of just opinions, which no one really wants to look at. Most of them would be neutral anyway. So for the townsfolk, we have made sure that the 5 default relationships they have aren't neutral. With that said, I should probably explain what the notable relationships actually do. They aren't just a menu with silly faces, they do actually have gameplay consequences. There are 5 situations where notable relationships matter. When someone moves out, is imprisoned, is killed, starts to detest you, or you marry them. Since foreign leaders can't move out, be imprisoned or killed, only the last 2 situations apply to them. Let's take the 3 starting characters as an example again. Erwin has a slightly positive opinion of Dawn, while Cecil has a negative opinion of Dawn. Erwin's opinion is equivalent to the number 25, while Cecil's is the equivalent to -50. This means that Cecil's opinion is a bit stronger than Erwin's. Let's say that Dawn is imprisoned because you don't like her for some reason. Erwin will then lose reputation since Erwin liked Dawn, while Cecil will gain reputation. The reputation change for both characters will be fairly small since their opinions aren't that strong. If Erevan was really good friends with Dawn or in a relationship with her, the impact would have been much bigger. Likewise, if Cecil truly despised her, he would have gotten a lot happier to see her gone. In cases like a character getting killed, only the most negative opinions will get a reputation increase, whilst even the smallest positive opinions will give reputation losses. How big the reputation loss is depends on how strong the positive opinion is. With this mechanic, I think there is a lot more interesting strategies that emerge when playing, and you have to think a lot more in layers when making decisions. You can no longer only focus on the character you want to have a good relationship with and do whatever you want with the rest, because if the character you like has an opinion of someone you neglect, you're going to notice that in your relationship with the character. That goes hand in hand with our mission to make the characters in the game as deep and unique as possible. You can learn a lot about someone by just looking at the people they hang out with after all. Speaking of which, for the townsfolk, the notable relationships also serve as an indicator of which two characters you might encounter during monthly events. Out of the relationship we're shown in this video, Dawn and Cecil, Erevan and Yules, and Hector and Alm have this type of meetup. Just keep in mind that each townsperson has 5 notable relationships, but a maximum of 2 meetup events. This means that there are at least 3 characters that they can have opinions of that you won't see them interact with. Because as fun as it would be to give them events with everyone they have an opinion of, it will simply take too much time to implement. And that's basically how notable relationships work. We will probably adjust the reputation changes after we have playtested the game properly, but for now it's in a pretty good place. If you think this game seems interesting, we would love it if you wishlist Mistwinter Bay on Steam. It helps us a lot. We also have a demo available on both Steam and itch.io, but it's severely outdated in terms of quality of life and loading times, so you should probably wait for the full game instead. Again, we hope to release Mistwinter Bay sometime this fall. That's all for now, I'll see you next time.